being present in an experience or the experience. Every single human being, you're going to have one, you're going to have a lot of things in life. The thing in your life you're going to have is called the experience. You're there. You're going to be present. You're going to begin to act out. You're going to speak out. You're going to exist. You're going to have, how can I put it? You're going to have a transaction and you're going to be part of the dynamics. And every experience has this atmosphere. There's a writer from way back, Napoleon Hill, spoke of it this way about the mastermind, right? In your experience, you are either going to be the mastermind, or you will partake of, or bow down to, or submit to, or be beaten down to, or level up by the mastermind in the experience or the environment. But I call it the experience. Because environments can change. They can be, an environment can be, you can have, let's say, for instance, you could be in a room, you're living somewhere, you moved in somewhere. The building can have a certain amount of people in it, and you walk, from the time you walked in, you started renting. The experience in the environment said, I like it here. You had that because of the people you started to meet, the slow interaction, or even in the interaction right away, right? And people walk through their life with a lot less of awareness, and I find that people who've been given much more security and back-ends and a strong support system don't really have to grow, and because they've kind of been given a lot of it already. But they've been given a certain level of not an awareness, but a consciousness of wellness around them, right? So they're expecting it. So it's their familiar, and without them even realizing it, they're kind of in tune with other experiences that's going to equate what they have known for years, right? The thing is about an environment in general, getting back to the person who moves into the building, is that lo and behold, the next day, someone else is moving into the building, and the person lives down the hall from you. Now, that person's experience in their life has been not like yours, right? Let's say they're going to turn out to be the bad neighbor. Well, your experience is going to change now based upon what they brought, which is their environment. Talking once again about the mastermind, which is the huge case of the environment, and then everyone involved. And usually the predominant factor wins every time. That's what makes idiots, psychopaths, ding dongs, idiot. I said idiots, didn't I? People you wouldn't consider to be on the upper level. They are the ones who win over the environment because they're there to control the environment. Okay? And don't let this ever fool you in any experience you walk into. One lesson I've learned in my life, and I'm still learning, if you're aggressive enough, okay, you have to be. You have to be. Later on in your life, you're going to have to be more aggressive, not towards people. You're going to have to be more aggressive about what you know, not what you believe, or I should say believe, but what you assume to be the right way to live and the rightness. You have to be aggressive about what you want. I should say maybe not what you want, what you desire, what is required, what equates that value that you're bringing, that it matches it. Because at some point in your life, you're going to have to match, you're going to have to make sure what is happening on the external of your life is going to match what's going on in the inside. And if you bring value wherever you go, nothing, no God, nobody is dictating to you to have bad experiences, but the devil. The word of God says, many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers them from it all, from all of it. Not God sending this stuff. Okay? Let's get that straight. If you want to go down the avenue of spirituality, you're going to know these people are harbingers. They're foretellers. They literally bring confusion to where there's peace. They bring hate to where there's love. They bring maliciousness to where there's goodwill. Because that's what the wicked one sent them to do. To steal, to kill, and to destroy everything that is good. Everything, everyone, and anything. And when you grasp that in your life, you will be so much more careful about your experiences and what you choose to allow. There are some experiences that is going to come into your life that you're going to have a hard time getting out of it, whether it be by previous experiences you had that someone endowed you to make bad choices. Whatever the case is, as you are making your way out of any experiences on quantum levels, on electronic levels, when you start making firm, strong decisions inside of you, there is a shift that begins to take place on the extremities of it all. People would call it the universe, that begins to send forth before it gets to you. It starts taking its journey to change your life. And the more aggressive you become as to the life that you know you deserve, not because you're entitled, not because you're selfish, not because you're proud. And by the way, people who think along these ways, because they believe they deserve the best, they're going to get it. And you know why they're going to get it? It's because they're operating a certain level of faith that you're not. Jesus says, according to your faith, be it unto you. So he would say, well, God is law and fair. No, God is not unfair. He set these laws in motion. But because they're much more aggressive than you are about getting that good life, they're going to get it. But along the way, they're going to leave a whole trail of the diseases that they bring, the evil, the garbage, because that's who they are. They're the kind of people that'll show up in a nice, beautiful campground. That's all beautiful and sweet. The lakes, everything smells good. The lake is streaming nice. And when they finish, it's just one big, massive mess. They're messengers of mess. They're a mess. And there's a lot of them. Getting back to the experience. When you are inside the experience, you're going to be endowed with certain type of strengths and gifts you never saw before that you thought you had. Okay? At the same time, you are going to be given a lot of training from deep down, a ripple effect, deep way down inside of you, to not allow it to happen again. And should it happen again, and I speak from experience, should it happen again, is because you still are in denial that the experience that keeps repeating itself over and over again is okay with you. I remember years ago, I went to take, excuse me. I went to rent from this lady. I know when I first met her, it's like something inside of me was already telling me that this woman, they ain't got too much class, you know? But I had nowhere else to go. I had from a hotel to rent a place, right? Now, this is the interesting thing about life in general. Most people make their choices out of desperation, okay? Because sometimes what happens is we get way too comfortable in things that are already wrong to do something about it. And when, as they would say, when the poop hits the fan, it's going to come flying at you. And I knew, and I had it before. I had it before, that little warning that something, they call it the gut reaction or whatever, that something was not good about this whole situation, which was going to turn into an experience. See where I'm going with this? Because the experience is a time frame that you're in it. That's the experience. Lo and behold, what made me start to realize that I needed to have the experience to tell myself, see how right you were. The problem that I had was I needed to tell myself how right I was, because somebody, my mom, my family, whatever, but I'm not going to go into it because I don't like to just, pinpoint, especially your mother and your father. You want to be careful of that, especially in a public forum, right? Because it's still your blood, right? But they loaned me their language, and their language was that you're never good enough. You're never going to be good enough, and that you spend the rest of your life trying to prove them wrong. I'm trying to prove how right you really are, because if you're doing better than they are, especially when it comes to character and dignity, and they didn't really have it in that level, you will have their awfulness in the mix with you, walking with you. And when you get through and get out of the experience, you will look back, and hindsight is a very hard thing to have in life, because we should never learn from hindsight, really, ever. It's okay, you make some mistakes, make too many. No, don't. Don't even allow that in your life. You say that to yourself every day. It's not an option to make mistakes in my life. It's not an option. It's not an option to fail. It's not an option to be around people who have failed their journey. It's not an option. It's not an option to be with people who are undignified, unrighteous, unholy, who are disgusting in so many ways. It's not funny. Who will not have an inkling of conscience, because they've forsaken that too when it comes to what they do. So your experiences is going to be your biggest teacher not to let it happen again. And your good experiences are going to tell you you're getting it right. I'm not saying that you should ever let your experiences be to the point that you need to go after like the heathen, and you need to have experiences to fulfill some deep pleasure or whatever. I'm not talking about those kinds of experiences. That's adventure. When people seek out adventure, okay, that's some of it's okay. But when people seek out certain kinds of adventure, is because they need stimulation, because they're dead inside. Okay. In so many ways, adventure is good for your soul. It teaches you to have faith and to get out there and take risks and experiences and so on and so forth. But when adventure is your thing, is because your bad experiences also be an adventure, and it's gonna ruin your life, man. Marriage, if marriage is to be looked at as an adventure, I'll just take the risk, and that's when you say adventure is bad, when it involves taking boneheaded risks, not taking a well-educated decision. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave you with this: is that when you're inside of your experience, you're there. Whether you want to accept it or not, you're there. And there's only two ways you're going to get out of it. One is right now, if it's a bad experience, by basically take getting out of there no matter what. Okay. And if it's a commitment that you have a contract or whatever, or you can't wait, you got to complete something. When you get out of that experience, you better know one thing: you're getting out, and the effect will eventually wear off. But understand this one thing: your experience, you're in it. Don't be denial about it. Don't ever be in denial about it. Okay? Because your experience is going to tell a lot about who you are and about your life. And don't let anybody fool you that you need to travel through their experiences. You don't need it. You're on your own journey, man. And if you're unique and you're special and you have a heart of gold, let your experiences be for shining and for God's glory. Okay. Have a good day and do like and subscribe. Thank you.